Hi, and thanks for checking out my channel. My name is Hannah, and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here you'll find content all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today, we're talking homemaker tips. Okay, so these are going to be my top 10 tips for the modern homemaker. I myself have been a full-time homemaker for the better part of the last decade, for about 8 or 9 years. I don't know, I'd have to really do the math on that. It was a really big adjustment for me to get used to going from working full-time, which I very much loved, to being a full-time homemaker, which I also very much love. But yeah, it was an adjustment. But after all of these years, I have some tips to pass on to you. These tips are really in no particular order. All right, let's dive right in. Number 1, have a routine. This is probably the advice that you would see most on the internet or from other people, but as a homemaker, to have a routine is extremely helpful. For me personally, a schedule doesn't work, like a cleaning schedule, even if it's just like do this day or do this day, because I find that things like vacuuming my floors, I end up doing multiple times a day because kids and dog and, well, me and husband. But for me to have a chore list like that doesn't really work. But having a routine is extremely helpful. So like, for example, before I go to bed at night, I always like to make sure that the kitchen is clean, the house is generally picked up. That way I can come out to a happy home in the morning when I have my quiet time away from the kids while they're still asleep. I like to wake up early. So yeah, just kind of getting into a routine like that is extremely helpful for me. There are certain days that I tend to do things on, like I tend to clean the bathrooms on Fridays, but I'll also clean them throughout the week if I notice that they need it. So yeah, just not to get stuck in a schedule, but it's good to have that routine. That way you kind of know things are gonna get done, and they're gonna get done in a way that's going to be helpful for you as the homemaker. Number 2, speaking of waking up early away from the kids, making sure that you have personal time. You can do this so many different ways. For me, I like to wake up early and start my day with some quiet alone time when my kids are asleep and my husband is already out of the house, and that's just my quiet time. It's such a beautiful way for me to start the day and puts me in a great mood going forward. For you, it could be late at night after your kids have gone to bed. Maybe that's a better personal time for you. Or it could be while your kids are taking naps, while they're at school, or even just while they're playing at the park and you're over on the bench by yourself. But the point is to have some personal time for you. Now, I don't think you should be spending this personal time cleaning the house. I know it can be so tempting to dive in and start doing laundry or dishes or things like that when the kids are occupied doing something else, but you should really spend this time, your personal time, doing something for you. Even if it's only 20 minutes. I actually think 20 minutes is a great amount of time to carve out to just be purely personal time. So not giving to your family, not giving to your home, but giving to you. And you should spend this time doing something that you enjoy. It could be reading a book, it could be playing games on your phone, it could be having a glass of wine on the porch, just having quiet, could be doing a craft project, learning a new skill, anything, but it's yours. Your 20 minutes. My husband and I have this thing where when he comes home from work, the next 20 minutes are mine. And he takes the kids and I just get that break, and then I can come out and I'm all refreshed and we have a beautiful evening. That's another good routine to get into. Okay, number 3, keep a calendar or a planner. I keep both. I have a dry erase calendar that I keep on the refrigerator that I keep major events, like if we've got a doctor's appointment or if we've got a trip. Any of those things go on that calendar so that the whole family knows what is coming up next. I also have my personal planner so that I know what's coming up next, and I can also write in my planner little to-dos. Like if I know I really need to do laundry tomorrow, I can go ahead and write laundry on that day in my planner, and that way I can cross it off later and I know that it gets done. But the planner, of course, isn't just about chores. It's about making sure that you're getting to appointments on time, that you are returning library books on time, whatever it is, that you're making it out to coffee with friends on time, whatever it is that you've got going on, it's good to have that planner or calendar where you can write those things down and make sure they get done. It'll take a lot of stress off of you to not just have sticky notes everywhere that could get lost and you miss something, but to have everything in one place where you can take it with you. Planners are an excellent tool for keeping organized. Number 4, speaking of planning, meal plan. Meal planning has been life-changing for me as a homemaker. I was always one of those people who was like, it's like 4 o'clock. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna make for dinner? Let's open the pantry and see what we even have. Oh, you want cereal for dinner? Great. Yeah, that's not really the best, is it? I mean, sure, I still do that sometimes, but now I try to plan it out. Even if I'm just planning it out the night before, I try to plan what my family's going to be eating for the week. It makes a huge difference on grocery trips and making sure that things are prepared. And then it takes away all that thinking for me for the rest of the week. So I don't have to think about the meals as meals are approaching. I already know what we're going to do. I just have to do it. So it takes a lot of stress and pressure off me, makes it a lot easier. You've already done the hard part, which is the thinking part. Number 5. Okay, I super love this one and I don't really know why it just ended up in the middle like this, but it's a great tip. Okay, have a mission statement. Know your goal. Why are you a homemaker? What do you want to do as a homemaker? Like, what is your goal? Well, some people are homemakers because they want to serve their household, their children, their husbands. Some people are homemakers because they want to give the best life they can to the people that they love. Some people are homemakers because of homeschooling and that is their focus. Probably it's a combination of a whole lot of things, but you should know your goal. You should know why it is that you chose to be a homemaker and what it is that you want to accomplish as a homemaker. For me personally, I have several goals as a homemaker. One of them, probably the biggest one, is to make my home the oasis for my entire family. When my family comes home, when they walk into our house, I want them to know that this is home. I want this to be our safe space. For my son with celiac, that we have no gluten in our house. It is his safe space. For my husband, when he comes home from work, he knows it's a place where he can relax. But for me, yeah, that's my biggest goal, to make our home the oasis for my family. I want it to be our safe, happy, protected place where we all love to be. Okay, moving on to number 6. Treat it like your job. Homemaking is your job. If you are a full-time homemaker, then this is your job. Treat it like a job. So I don't just mean waking up and starting to work on the house at 9 a.m. and quitting at 5. That's not at all what I mean. We all know homemaking has no hours. What I mean is to treat it professionally. Do a solid good job on your home the way that you would if you were going to work for an employer. Just the difference is you're your own employer. But even more than that, learn about it. Think about if you go out and you have a job and you're taking professional development courses or getting new certifications or things like that to become better at your job. That's what you should be doing with homemaking. There are a lot of books, magazines, websites, blogs, podcasts, all kinds of things about homemaking that you can look at, view, listen to, whatever works best for you. I personally am a podcast girl, but you can do these things to become better at your job as a homemaker. Even if you're already an amazing homemaker, which I'm sure you are, you can still improve. We can all always improve, but we have to make intentional effort to do so. So when I say treat it like your job, I am talking about professional development so that you can be better at your job. Number 7, kind of along those same lines, learn a new skill. This can be great fun. This can be great for both your personal time or just for your professional development or just in general. But learning new skills is a great thing you can do as a homemaker. Maybe you don't know how to sew a button. Learn how to sew a button. Now you have a new skill to fix your own clothes or your family's when a button falls off. Maybe you want to learn how to knit or crochet. You could make hats, mittens, gloves, scarves, whatever for yourself, for your family, or for gifts for other people. Same with sewing, or maybe it's a new skill within something that you already love. Maybe you love to bake, but you've never made a souffle. So there's a new skill you can learn. You can learn how to bake a souffle. So yeah, just choose new skills and develop them, learn them. Then you just have a wider skill set, and who doesn't want that? So whether it's a skill that you have never even thought about learning before, or whether it's just building on skills you already have, learning new skills is something that we can do as homemakers to make our lives easier and easier on our household. Number 8, make homemaker friends. I know you're probably thinking like, what? Wow, make homemaker friends. What is that even for? In a world where most people are working, I have found that it is so enriching and nice to be able to be friends with other homemakers. It's just nice to have that thing in common. While I have a wide variety of friends with all kinds of different jobs or not, it is really nice to sit around and chat with my other homemaker friends. Even if we're not talking about anything homemakery-ish, it's just nice to know that they kind of get me from that aspect. And it's sort of like a nice support system. It's nice to know that you're not the only one out there. I feel like a lot of times these days when so many people are working, there's so many two-income households working, that for me as a full-time homemaker, it's really nice to know other full-time homemakers. It's such a rarity these days, and it's like a support system. I don't feel like I'm the oddball when I'm hanging out with my other homemaker friends. And there's certain aspects about being a full-time homemaker that are a little hard sometimes. Like, I'm not leaving the house to go to work. I'm not getting very many breaks from my kids or my family. I'm not getting very many breaks from the walls of my house, especially here in the middle of this COVID pandemic. But yeah, it's really nice to be able to talk to my other homemaker friends who get it. And we can kind of share ideas and cope together and just know that we're not alone. But even without the pandemic, yeah, it's still just really nice to have other friends who do the same thing that I do in their own ways, and that we can share ideas and just kind of share that life together. Number 9, make your home your happy place. Okay, as a full-time homemaker, I'm home a lot. I want to make sure that I really, really like my home. I want it to be a happy place for me to live too. It should be my oasis also. So I spend a lot of time working to make sure that that happens. Now, obviously, if you've been watching my channel, you know that we've been doing a home remodel lately, which we're kind of still in the middle of. But this is something right now that I'm working on, making my home my really happy place. But even before that, when we were just renting this house before we bought it, I tried to do things to make it look pretty, whether it was buying throw pillows that I liked or painting a room a certain color, like whatever it was that I could do to make this place my happy place, I did. Of course, I want it to be happy for the other people who live in my house, but I need to be happy first, because let's be honest, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So true, right? Okay, number 10. This is my last tip for today. Give yourself grace for what you're not good at, and give yourself permission to let somebody else do it, if that's a possibility for you. Let's say, for example, you are just no good at cooking. It's not your thing. You don't have time. You don't have the desire. You don't have the talent. Like whatever it is, cooking doesn't work for you. Okay. Don't be afraid to just make a box of mac and cheese. Don't be afraid. Like, give yourself grace. Like, it's okay to just make the box of mac and cheese. It's okay to just make pasta for dinner. It's okay to go buy the container of ready to shove in your oven food from the grocery store. Like, that's okay. It's okay to order takeout. It's okay to take your family out to eat. Like, it's okay. If cooking isn't your thing, let somebody else do it. Even if it's just buying one of those things from the freezer section that, like those little, what do you call those saute meals where you throw it all in the pan from the frozen bag and you saute it up as like a full meal. Like, yeah, just let somebody else do the cooking. Same with house cleaning. If you can get a maid and you're no good at house cleaning, or you just don't enjoy it, if you can afford that luxury, go for it. It's totally okay. Nobody was gonna look down on you for not doing something. Okay, maybe you will. I find this problem with me where I'm like, I can't get a maid because this is my job. But you know what? I have had a maid in the past. It was awesome. It was such a huge help to me when I needed it. I had a maid for a while when I had a cast on my arm and I just couldn't even handle it because I couldn't do stuff like physically. And I also had a maid for a couple of years while I was battling postpartum depression and recovering from that, and I don't know, getting back on my feet. And then I just kind of got used to it. It was awesome. But anyways, like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. If you need this help, take it. It's okay. You have permission, and you should give yourself permission. You have permission to give yourself permission. And you can kind of throw that into any area of homemaking that doesn't work for you. Like, think of it like back in the day, the homemaker would make all the clothes for everybody in the family. So who's doing that these days? Not that many people, okay? I, for one, definitely don't have the time or the talent or the ability, like any of that, to make all of the clothes for my family. Do I think it's great that some people do? Yeah, awesome. But I can also just go down to the store and buy clothes, and that solves that problem. So yeah, that's outsourcing sewing clothes for your family. Like, you don't have to do that. It's the same with all the other things. Okay, so those are my top 10 homemaker tips. Please let me know what tips you have down in the comment section. I would love to hear what other tips other folks have. So these tips definitely apply to full-time homemakers, part-time homemakers, just a little bit of the time homemakers. They apply to everybody. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Be sure to drop me your comments below. Let me know what you thought and any tips that you have that you can share. Let's get that conversation going down there in the comment section. Be sure to like this video, by the way, and please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get all of your notifications. I would super appreciate it. I would love to have you here in this community that we are building. All right, with that, I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload. Hashtag happy home, hashtag homemaker goals. I know it does nothing to say hashtag in the middle of the video.